What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys a quick market update as Bitcoin has gotten a bit of a move to the downside. Now, if you guys have been watching my live streams on this channel at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single weekday, you will know that almost all week we've been getting mixed signals from our indicators, which made us look at the volume profiles and some specific key levels to try to navigate these mixed signals that we were getting on our indicators. So in this video, I want to show you guys some of the bearish signals that were flashing on the chart last night that indicated this potential move to the downside. And then I actually want to talk about how we were able to use these key levels and the volume profile. Yes, I know, once again, the volume profile, but I want to talk about how the volume profile was able to let us know that it was much more likely for us to get this move to the downside. And we did talk about all of this last night on the live stream. And the reason I bring this up is so that next time something like this happens, you guys, the Candle Mafia, can see this stuff coming before it happens. So you're not a complete slave to my YouTube channel and you can start to see this stuff on your own. And then right after that, guys, I do want to talk about some key levels that we are approaching because we are at a very key level of support and we will be approaching an even more important level of support. And if that level gets broken, we may be in for some additional downside. So you're going to want to stick around to see that level because, again, it's going to be a super important level that we must hold. But before we get into it, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of these urgent market updates or awesome tutorials that we upload to the channel. Now, before we jump right into the TA, guys, I do want to pull up a clip from my live stream last night where I was talking about the volume profile and how when indicators are giving you mixed signals, you can look at these key levels and when in doubt, zoom out, look at your volume profile, where's your macro range. That more often than not can give you a really good idea of where price is going to go. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and check out this clip and then let's jump in and do some TA. You know, once you get rejected or accepted back into your value area, right? We came out of the value area. We rejected this spider line here. We got a little bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, rejection back into your value area, right? We came down, could not get back above the value area high, and then we knew that that next likely level would be that point of control at 23K. However, when you get accepted back into your value area, not only are you expecting to get sucked towards your POC, but you are actually expecting to eventually make it back down to your value area low. But we know that price action is oftentimes very messy, right? So there you go, guys. That is the volume profile we were watching last night. As you guys know, we've been looking at multiple volume profiles within this macro range. You know, we did have a volume profile range right up here, which was a local range that we had, which is essentially how we knew that we were going to reject over here. Let me go ahead and fix the settings on this real quick, unextend it. And you can see we did have our value area low coming in right here near our local golden pocket where we were expecting price to potentially come up, put in a lower high, and then continue to the downside. And again, not only did you have that value area low, but you also had your local golden pocket, which again is another area that price likes to run up into in order to make a lower high and then move to the downside. And then on top of that, another reason why you could have been leaning towards the fact that we may break down is the fact that, number one, price likes to make lower highs at the local golden pocket and the previous value area low of your previous range, but it also made a lot of sense when zooming out to our macro volume profile right here. You could see, well, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because like I said in that clip from last night, typically, if you're just looking at the rules or the laws, as I like to call them, the laws of your volume profile, you know that as soon as you reject the value area high, now I understand this level is a little bit different. I believe it's because we're looking at a different exchange. But either way, once you reject the value area high, or in that clip, getting accepted back into your value area, which happened, that level was closer to here, right? Once you get back into that value area or you reject a value area high, you are expecting eventually to move down to your POC and then eventually move down to your value area low. And it's actually pretty eerie. That line I drew on that stream last night was like almost perfect because we know, again, key words or key phrase in that video was that price action is often messy. So although once you reject the value area high, we are expecting to come down to our value area low, we're expecting to get down here eventually, and we know that likely the road to the value area low is going to be kind of choppy, right? Maybe we come back, oh my God, no, we're going to the value area high. Wait, no. But if you just trust the laws of the volume profile, you know that this is just noise, right? You are eventually expecting to get down to that value area low. So that is why we were looking at this level. On top of that, if you pull up your volume profile, I didn't pull up this clip, but we were also talking about this yesterday, and that was kind of the key level that we needed to hold in order to or the level that we needed to break in order to get that big move to the downside. And if you guys watch the live stream, this chart will look very familiar to you. And I was letting you guys know, hey, we're getting mixed signals on those indicators. So what I'm doing is using these key levels as my indicator, right? The break and flip of resistance to support on this purple box was going to be my signal for more upside, and the break of this blue box was our signal for more downside. And as you can see, once we broke that box, things got pretty exciting to the downside. We started to basically just free fall. And again, these levels were essentially pulled from another volume profile, a more local volume profile, right? And kind of what we were talking about last night specifically was actually, let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit. What we were talking about specifically on last night's stream was, hey, if we start losing this blue box, the next likely spot to move is going to be the area with the next highest volume, right? And at that point, we were up here, and we were saying if we lose this high volume node up here, we are likely to start moving our way back down to this high volume node down here, which is essentially where our value area low was. And as you can see, we came down and almost tapped that value area low to the dollar. So again, this is kind of how I was using confluence between not only key levels, but the volume profile, as well as some of the bearish signals that were popping up on last night's stream as well. So with that being said, I do just want to pull up some of these bearish signals. You guys will be familiar with them if you've been watching the live streams all week. We did have a double blood diamond confirmed on the 6-hour time frame. And you guys know, we talk about this a lot with the yellow X's and the blood diamonds. Sometimes you could get the confirmation of those blood diamonds and then get a little bit of a fake out pump before a big rejection. And again, a lot of times, you know, these blood diamonds don't always play out immediately. Sometimes they can actually foreshadow a move coming in the near future. And a lot of times they like to fake you out with these big moves to the upside before coming back down. So moving on here, we also had an 8-hour confirmed blood diamond, something we were looking at on the past live streams. Your 10-hour no blood diamond on your 10-hour. But that 8-hour blood diamond is pretty bearish. And then also, again, you did get that blood diamond on your 1 hour at the start of the actual meltdown of price action right here. So the bearish signals were on there. I think the title of the live stream was Bitcoin ranges as bearish signs appear. So the fact that those bearish signs were appearing, even though we had mixed signals on our market cipher B and our other indicators, we were able to know, like, hey, if we break these key levels of support, that's where we're expecting that move down. And again, we knew we were going to come down to that $22,000 level, or more specifically, kind of where we're hanging out right now. The level I was calling for last night on the stream and in my premium Discord was $22,200, which is basically where we are sitting right now. Well, we're actually sitting closer to 22,300 and something right now, but we're essentially holding support at that 22.2K level. And again, I'm not just coming up with these levels randomly and hoping that they hold. I know these levels are going to give us some form of reaction because I'm looking at the actual volume. So this is how we're finding these levels, guys. This is how we're able to know where price is going to fall through, where price is going to get a bounce from, when price is going to grind its way up or shoot through really quickly, or where it's going to free fall through. It's all volume profile based, and I hope this shows you guys again how reliable these volume profiles can be. And again, you know, there is a lot of noise here. We had a little range up here, then we broke down. We had a little range down here. There's stuff all over the place. There's lines and levels and TA and indicators everywhere. But when in doubt, zoom out a little bit, find your macro range, and think about what your volume profile would be saying. Is your volume, are you at the POC? Did you get rejected from the value area high? Because as soon as that happens, you're expecting a visit of the value area low eventually. And this chart's actually a little bit better. You could kind of see this is the basically the exact level, right? We were saying if you lose that 23K level, essentially, or that blue box, which was basically right here where my crosshairs are, that is where we are going to fall into this low volume gap and likely find support on this high volume node down here. Again, lining up perfectly with your value area low, your macro value area low. So many things pointing to the downside here, guys. Again, it was very confusing the past week. Indicators were kind of all over, but I hope this gives you insight into how we can use these volume profiles and key levels as a compass to navigate when the indicators are giving us mixed signals. So now, guys, let's talk about where price can go in the short term and medium term and maybe even long term. Is my long-term bullish sentiment gone? Not quite yet, but I'm going to tell you guys when it will disappear. But first, let's talk about some key levels that we're coming down to right now, or key levels that I am watching very closely. Now, if we zoom out a little bit more, remember, guys, it's just a game of volume profiles. Zooming out, looking at our more macro range here, all the way back here from June, all the way to our current price action. I'll go ahead and get rid of this volume profile just to clean things up a bit. You can see we have our macro range here. And you'll notice our value area high is at a very interesting level, right? It is right at the highs we made before that FTX collapse, which is a level that we were already looking at, saying, hey, if we could flip this level, it may be very bullish for Bitcoin. That's how we were able to give the long signals in the premium Discord at the retest of this value area high, because we were saying, hey, if price comes up and breaks this FTX level, that is going to be mega bullish, right? But if we come down and hold support and get bullish confirmations at this key level, we are likely going to take another leg to the upside. Now, the reason why I am continuing to watch this level very closely is just like it was important to catch support on right here, it is going to be very important to get some support on over here. And the reason being is that if we break back into this value area, I'm going to mark this out with horizontal lines, the POC, the value area low, and the value area high. Let me just go ahead and make that a little bit more accurate. There you go. If we go ahead and come down and we do not get strong support on this level, you could see if we break back below that value area high, just like in this value area from Friday the 13th all the way to our current price action, just like in here, we were saying when you reject the value area high or you get accepted back into the value area, we are expecting a visit of the value area low eventually, even though we got big pumps here, right? We got a pump here. We caught a long here in the premium Discord up to this next level. But again, that is just a scalp long for a lower high, and we are still expecting that visit to the value area low. So in the exact same fashion, guys, we are going to be looking at this range in the exact same way. If we get accepted into this value area and we cannot get back above that value area high, I am expecting to get a move eventually back down to our value area low. Or I should say it would be somewhat probable to get a move back down to our range lows, which obviously, if that happens, would be very bearish for Bitcoin because that value area low is coming in at about $16,000, almost even. So I know nobody wants Bitcoin to go down that low, maybe except me. I'm looking to load up my bags a little bit more, but no guarantees that we get down there, but just understand that, every time I come on here and do these market updates or do a live stream, I'm always referencing back to the prior volume profiles we were looking at because they always hit. Most of the time they hit. Nothing's 100%. Sometimes you're not going to make it down to the value area low, and it's definitely possible not to make it all the way down here, but it would be the higher probability thought to get a move down to at least your POC, and if not, eventually expecting that move to the value area low. So this level right here at $21,400 is going to be absolutely key. If we break that level and cannot get above, we will be back into this value area and could start to move back down towards that value area low. Now, another key level I'd be watching within this value area that may be a little bit of a saving grace, maybe this high volume node at about $19,200. It is the point of control of this little previous range we traded in. But this high volume node is going to be very important because if you lose this level, you can see the massive low volume gap that we have down here that will quickly give you a move down to that POC. But you do have a decent bit of volume here, guys. So that is the one thing. Once we break below, directly underneath this level, there is a bit of volume. So you may get a decent bit of support here. But if we make it down to this level and we lose 19,200, this is where you are likely to see a very fast move back down to this high volume node again in the 16,000s or high 15,000s. So these are the key levels I am looking at underneath us, guys. Definitely want to to keep an eye on these. But another level to watch here, guys, is obviously going to be that $19,500 level, because we do have the CME gap down there. You can see the bottom of this gap right here is about 15.5. So we want to remember, oh, there you go. You do have a fair value gaps down there as well, which is different than a CME gap. But anyway, you do have that the CME gap here at $19,500. So we may come down, fill that gap before continuing up. But at that point, we will start to break the bullish market structure, in which case we could start to entertain the thoughts of some more movement to the downside. Now, guys, real quick, before I let you go, I do want to let you know, I know this market update has seemed like all doom and gloom, which is important to keep in mind, but one thing to realize here is we have come down to the value area low of our range. So what I would be looking at this point would be for some potential bullish divergences forming at the lows of this range, right? And the lows are obviously coming in here at about $22,000 even, $21,950. So as we approach this level of support, typically not the best place to be looking to go short, because you are coming up to key support. So with that being said, something I would be looking for here is our 4-hour VWAP is starting to curve back up towards that zero line. So as we start to get a little bit of short-term price action here, I would look for this green dot on the 4-hour, because if we do print that green dot on the 4-hour, we will have somewhat of a bullish divergence here on that 4-hour time frame. It's not the strongest angle here, but it would at least give us some form of a bullish divergence as long as that momentum wave doesn't come down any deeper. But even then, that green dot on the 4-hour could give us a little bit of a move to the upside. And you can see you also have these divergences somewhat forming on your 2-hour as well as your 1-hour. You can see that right there, obviously spanning across a bunch more momentum waves on the 1-hour. But there you go. You could be starting to see, this is basically just showing us that momentum is starting to come up slightly as our price action is continuing to come down. So that $21,950 level, that value area low of our macro range, this is pretty important support as well. So be careful. We could easily get some bounces off the bottom of the range here. So keep an eye on that, guys. So with all that being said, I think that's all I got for today's market update. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.